Here.
Crowner.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Lees. Here. Young.
Here.
Thank you. Would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Support.
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. We have a consent agenda consisting of 7 items. I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve is presented.
Support.
Support.
Motion and support.
Your Honor, I'd mentioned a change in the minutes.
Changed it.
Do we need to change it now, or? is
No,
it-
I
okay,
changed them.
Perfect.
They're updated. I didn't hear who seconded that, though.
John did.
John.
I believe you did. Yeah. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, motion carries. All right, we'll move into our council and staff reports.
And try this out, see what you think about it. I can actually see you and do the presentations, but a couple items. Trailhead, took committee comments. The students have put together a nice little summary of the information to date and feedback on the Trailhead Park. Took last comments from the committee, shared that with the students, and they're going to be putting together the final draft design for us for the Trailhead Park. So looking forward to seeing that. So far, excellent work. I think they've done. I think that everybody's been pretty excited about it. May 8th is the community presentation and for the Iowa Institute for Sustainable Communities. There will be 7 presentations that day with a reception to follow. I've sent out an email. I'll be posting a link as well. It's open to the public. Encourage you to register for that as well, both for the sessions and for the reception. Trail
Greg,
punch list. Sorry, go ahead.
Do you recall what time of the day those presentations
Everything's in the
begin?
afternoon.
Everything's in the afternoon, thank
And
you.
then early,
Are they all going to be here, or? I
it's
know-
at the, it's downtown. It's at the library, City Hall, Art Center. And the Art Center will be where the wrap-up. And the Art Center is also where the shared services and the arts and culture larger plans will be as well. And then the streetscape will be at the library, is our other project as well, as the joint projects. And then the reception will be at the Art Center.
And is it the
And you can
Burlington
register
City?
on there. You'll see the times on the registration form. When you go to click on the link, it'll tell you the times for each and every one of the presentations.
And is it the Burlington City Hall?
Burlington City Hall, Burlington Library, and the Art Center this time.
Thank
The trail, getting ready to close this out. Finally, the punch list is being recirculated. The railing completed its testing requirements. My understanding is DOT satisfaction, so we'll get that finalized and looking to see the final pay app on that and closing that project out. Nothing been going on other than the railing testing at this point in time. Local artists, we have a West Burlington High School graduate that put a couple concepts together on the Mayfly concept. Who's in probably 2 or 3 locations we were looking to do that at. And the Art Center has 2 individuals that they're looking at creating a West Burlington butterfly or prairie, whatever you want to call it, stencil as well that we could utilize in and around the community at the different locations. Aiden Krell is the West Burlington High School grad that has put together the 2 current concepts. So working with them on that, and then we'll be putting the stencils together for kind of a West Burlington design that could be utilized at different locations. Work sessions. We'd like to bring forward a discussion on the Walmart entrance by the gas station and talk about issues and options at that location that we've seen. There was a recent accident again involving a semi a couple weeks ago. So we'd like to bring that out for discussion as well. We'll certainly let Walmart know and in advance as well. So we'd like to try to find a time that we could do a work session. I know there's a couple vacations coming up as well. Want to make sure everyone's here for that. In addition to that, we'd like to, there's some discussion about a no left turn into the school drop-off site off of Ramsey that was brought forward. So bring up that discussion, just to help the traffic flow, because it's supposed to, and I believe the rules require them to come from Houston up Ramsey, turn right into the parking lot, which is how we originally designed it, and then exit and take a right turn. There are a number of folks that try to take left turns, so maybe putting a sign of no left turn that can be pushed out just during morning and afternoon or something like that. Logo concepts, and these aren't really to replace our logo, but just some cool additional ones that we could be utilizing. I'll talk a little bit more about it later, but also capital projects and a potential noise ordinance. That's all I have tonight.
What was the last one there, Greg?
Noise ordinance?
Noise?
Noise ordinance?
So you're proposing we have a separate work session to cover all these things you just mentioned?
Yeah,
I
a
gotcha.
work session rather than a council meeting. I'll look at some dates. I know we have a couple vacations and try to work around those, and
Thank you.
I'll put those out to everybody.
I'm just curious what's bringing up the noise ordinance.
Noise,
Noise.
loud noise.
We don't really have any, we don't have any,
I'm just
our ordinance
curious.
isn't sufficient.
Loud House at Mount Pleasant and Gear. That's what I was wondering.
Keep that disco music down.
I thought maybe it was Teresa or something.
Quiet. Quiet as a church mouse.
All right, Public Works?
We've had a couple water main breaks the past couple weeks. And also an air relief valve broke on the force main last Thursday. We got it shut off so it doesn't leak, but we're going to be doing some more work to that hopefully next week to try to repair that. We had to shut it down for, I think, 5 hours. So it's kind of a mess, but we got it taken care of. We're gonna have to shut down West Burlington Avenue underneath the overpass next month for about a month because the DOT is gonna be doing work to the bridges. So they said they want to start St. Patty's Day as long as the weather is still good. And if it goes good, it'll be about a month. It'll be shut down. So Joel and Cole just got their test for pool certificate passed today. So they're good for 5 years on that. Tyler just got his CDL last week, so he's good to go. And the school is getting new lights for the softball diamonds, and they talked about donating them to us to put at the diamonds behind the pool if we were interested. And then if we were, we would have to come up with how much it would cost to move forward with that. So I talked to Bazines, and they're supposed to give a price of what it would be to install them, but
Not cheap,
not cheap.
not cheap. But maybe there could be some fundraising to offset that or we work around that. But we'll start by getting a cost to see what it would take.
Well, some of that we can do, can't we? As far as like drilling the holes in the ground and to put the post on?
We could probably do that, but the posts are way taller than anything.
Yeah, we'd have to have somebody set them, but
They're gonna
unless you use a fire truck, fire ladder.
I think you want to use them.
they're gonna be doing the softball ones this year, and then they are planning on doing the baseball in a couple years if it works out. So they'd want to do one diamond and then do the other one later on if it works out. So
A person brought that up to me also about that's on the school and be pretty nice out there for that.
You see where the leak
we
was?
we don't have enough power out there, so that'd be the big issue. So.
Well, 3M worked awful nicely with us when we added this power back here behind City Hall for the 4th of July. Maybe there's an option there to do something with them.
Jason, are you still in charge, you
Paid
getting
for the-
bids for the front, for the office too?
Yeah, we got everything but
Stuff.
one bid left, but it's almost, I talked to them last week and they're supposed to be almost done, so.
But it's getting close then.
Yep.
Yeah, we have one complete quote. We've got cost for the other items that would be done internally, and then we're just waiting on one quote for the same type of work, so we don't want to announce what the other quote is.
Is the other interrogation room, is that operational now then? Is it good to go, or?
Yeah, just about. We just got some cameras left to put in there, so.
Okay.
Chase, on the detour, are we responsible as a city to make the detour around West Burlington Avenue when they close that off?
Oh, that's what, I believe so, so.
Okay, how soon can we, or will we be able to let people know that so they can start planning for that closure?
I think talked to Katie last week and she was gonna make something up, so it should be out soon, I would think, so. Yep. They're supposed to give me like a couple weeks heads up before they come and do it, so.
Oh, good,
Yep.
okay.
What are they doing?
They're gonna do some resurfacing on the bridge. They're gonna redo the underneath. They're gonna tear out the concrete underneath and put rock, and then some of the walls need redone, so.
Awesome.
We've asked two questions. One, why do we have to bear the cost of the rerouting? And two, why are they putting crushed concrete or rock underneath there instead of paving it again? I think that's just going to be a pain from a maintenance perspective, and more of a nuisance with weeds, et cetera, coming up through there. So two questions we're waiting on answers for.
Well, and just add a third one to it. When they did that same work on Broadway just this last fall, they kept one lane of the road open and they paid for traffic control.
This is for Broadway. This is bridge work.
This
That was
is
just
West
underneath
Burlington.
it.
West Burlington
You
yeah.
said West Burlington
Yeah.
Avenue.
But they're actually gonna be doing resurfacing on the top. And
Of overhead.
They're gonna be redoing the walls on one of them. I can't remember which
The
one it is,
foot,
but
yeah.
that's why they're shutting the whole road down, or need it shut down.
Oh, and they did Broadway. They kept it open, just had one-way traffic each way.
Yeah.
This time they'll actually
weren't
be on top
working
of the
a-
bridge.
Gotcha.
so.
Okay, thanks for clarifying. Chase, since I got your attention, just help me understand, you know that camera that we have in the budget for next year?
Yep.
If you had that camera, would you have been able to avoid the problems, the water main breaks or the main break, the two things you just mentioned a bit ago that happened?
No, that would be strictly on the sewer side.
It's only sewer side, okay.
So I think you even do storm, depending
Or
on the
storm
storm.
sewer.
Yeah.
Storm or sewer, okay, so went to prevent it or helped us get in front of those,
Yep.
okay,
Nothing for water though.
okay, thank you.
Your Honor, one follow-up. I forgot.
Yes.
So we met with Alliant again, and we've got a map of recent outages and locations. They're telling us it's mainly related to our tree canopy. So we're going to go out and take a look at the highest locations. This is just 2 years' worth to kind of give us what that impact has been more recently with the storms. And so we're going to go out and take a look and see if there's anything that we can do, working with property owners or the city can do from a maintenance perspective at these higher, at these locations where there's been more outages, see if there's anything that we can do. But we continue to work with them on it. But they're telling us it's mainly tree branches, and that undergrounding project is not for 2 years. So we thought we should at least go out and take a look at these denser areas and see if there's anything we can do with the tree canopy.
Well, they're more than happy to come and chop my tree in the backyard every couple of years. It's like a nice fee.
They do some tree, I mean, like for one of these areas, which we knew or suspected would be high, is between Van Wees and Kimberly in the backyards. I mean, and that's the highest density area there is for incidents of outages. And obviously, so it happens at one, it affects everything down the line, not up the line necessarily. So, but we continue to move forward on it.
And have they given you a letter indicating that they have made corrections on the franchise fee for those people who do not live in West Burlington?
I've been told that they're going to make those corrections. They've been working on, in fact, we corrected a couple addresses last week for them that were actually in the city, not in the county. So I don't, that should be going to their billing department as soon as they have those addresses squared away. So.
Thank you. Police?
Talking about road closures, it's out in the county, but it's on North Gear, 1.8 miles north of Mount Pleasant Street on North Gear is closed for 5 months at Flint Creek. So anybody using North Gear out that way is closed for the next 5 months. Bridge deck replacement. Tomorrow is Snow Bowl, and Burlington Strong is donating the money this year to the Des Moines County, Burlington, and West Burlington K-9. So they've been selling T-shirts over the last several weeks, and we're going down tomorrow for the presentation of the check given to the city. So myself and Bryce will head down there tomorrow to get that. It's family night tomorrow, and there's still got a couple T-shirts left if anybody wants to stop by 1017 Bowl tomorrow and pick that up. Firefighters, fire department, we got 12 firefighters taking the Firefighter 1 class. That started a couple weeks ago, and it's about 10 or 12 weeks long is how long that Firefighter 1 class. So that's a good number for that. And myself and Justin started our fire inspector class up in Marion. We go up there every Monday for 5 weeks to take that class. So we should be able to get the fire inspections going back up and running when we get done with that class.
Thank you. Anything from our clerk?
Not tonight.
Okay. Finance? Nope. Okay. Go to council reports. Start down with Ringo.
No, Your Honor.
Andy?
Two quick things. Number one, 4th of July, if anybody out there is listening and wants to volunteer this year, I could use a few extra hands. And if you have a group that's interested in doing something, we're selling raffle tickets. We're getting about to that point. So probably have raffle tickets the beginning of April to start selling those. And then Business of the Year is not next Thursday. Thursday, March 20th. I believe we're going to meet here at 10:45 a.m. that morning. By we, I mean all you folks. Yep. I won't be here, but, and then go to that business at 11 a.m. I will be sending out to the media again who won that, so they know the night before to be able to meet us there. But Thursday, March 20th will be that event.
Is that plan the fire trucks?
Yep.
Thing? Thank you.
The railroad permit was submitted about 3 weeks ago for 4th of July.
Oh.
John?
I don't have nothing tonight.
Okay.
Thank you.
Treese?
Just two things. Express condolences to the Wendell Linder family. I mean, Wendell was a stalwart at West Burlington Bank. I know I went to him several times for a couple of loans, and sympathies to Brian and the family. And then last week, I went to Trailways Open House, and that was quite interesting to tour through that. I took a tour on their new super duper fancy tour bus, and I'll tell you, that's a Cadillac of buses.
Yes, it is.
The only thing they needed was a margarita machine in the back. That was all. But they're now able to do automotive work and auto body and work on fire trucks and city trucks and anything of that nature. And they had a pretty good turnout, and it was a very nice, I forgot how big it was on the inside. Massive. So just a shout out to one of our West Burlington businesses.
I might add to that. I went there with Treese too, and I did the simulator and I never ran over anybody, and I didn't even run into a house. So, and they offered me a job.
Whoa!
So no. It was very, very interesting. They have came a long, long ways, and they got a really nice facility. Kudos to them.
Emily?
Just tomorrow morning, love to see anybody at our Coffee and Council at at Dunkin' Donuts tomorrow from 8 to 10. I plan to be there and hoping to see some of you guys there.
I'll be there, but a little late.
I'll see you at 8. Thanks.
I will come after I finish my class, so that means I'll be there about 9.
Okay, gotcha. Ringo and Treese will start at 8 or just be there at 8, right? Okay, I'll be there at 8. I'll show up when you
Maybe I'll
want.
be there at 9.
All right.
Okay. on my end of things, we might put something for our discussion. The new Secretary of Agriculture suggested to families that they should raise chickens if they don't like the egg prices. She did that about 2 days ago, and I didn't know whether people in West Burlington are going to try to do that, but I thought maybe it would be good to discuss our policy for
Look at our ordinance,
that.
make one.
Get our ordinance in place, because we might have a flood of people wanting to have chickens in the backyard. So,
You mean we'll just have to issue a bunch of permits, is what you're
could
saying?
be. But discussion before we do that.
Yeah, we might as well fix our ordinance the right way.
All righty. With that, then, I will go, if there's any citizen inquiries on our business that we're going to have, the 6 items that we have here. If there's someone that wants to talk on those issues ahead of time, I'd entertain that. If not, I will go ahead and start our new business. This is on the new business that we have here, and then we'll have time for citizen inquiries at the end. So our first item of new business is considering a resolution adding Josh Glendenning, Olivia Delanos, Josh Miller, and Brian Reich to the fire department.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second.
Are any of them here?
Olivia's here.
Hi, Olivia. I just want to say thank you. I can't see you. Super welcome. Glad you're here. Why do you want to do this?
I was a junior actually for a couple years just because I was bored and wanted to go there. But I don't know, I like all the guys in the department. It's a good learning experience. I think it's fun. I like the adrenaline.
You like the adrenaline? All right. And who's with you? Is this?
This is my stepdad.
Well, heck. Thank you for coming. This is great, and I'm glad you're here. And I just wanted to say, Jesse, what are you doing? We're getting all these people to the fire department. Awesome.
Lose a few, gain a few, so.
Net positive, that's what we're going for here?
Yep.
Awesome, good. Well,
No,
welcome.
she's been a good kid, fun to have around. She's asked questions and learning and going EMT class and trying, that route too, so she's a good addition.
Good, well, super. I'm glad you're here, and thanks for stepping up. We need more of you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, and I want to second to Jesse, too. It's great to see, we've made a lot of changes in the fire department in the last year and a half or so, and so it's nice to see that people are wanting to join and look like some pretty qualified people, too.
Yep.
So, thank you.
No further discussion. I'll call for a vote.
Crowner,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Over.
Aye. Motion carries. Our second item of new business is consider the second reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 113 of the city's code related to the term for a right-of-way license.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
I need to do a
Do we have
roll
to
call.
do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Aye.
Johnson, Lees,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Over,
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Number 3, consider a resolution waiving the final reading of this ordinance amending Chapter 113 of the city code related to the term for a right-of-way use license.
So moved.
Support.
Motion and support. Call for a vote.
Lees,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Over,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Johnson,
Motion carries. All right, our fourth item is considering a side letter of agreement with the police department union.
Motion to approve?
Support.
Motion and support. Discussion?
I just want to say, since we've done most of this at work sessions, that I would still be in favor in the future at looking at our longevity pay. I think that's, as we look at the numbers, where our base pay matches pretty well with other police departments in the area, but we, at the high end, start to spread apart and lose that. So this is a good compromise. Council had many different opinions, but I did want to say that at a public meeting, that I still think that's the issue we need to solve at some point in time.
Okay. I don't think I need a roll call on this one, do I, Kelly?
No.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, number 5, we have a discussion on the downtown mural project.
Your Honor, would it be, I'd like to ask to take these two out of order, do the capital first, and then I'm going to step up to the computer to do the art portion. That'd be
Okay.
acceptable?
That's acceptable with me. Is there any objection from the
No
council? Not at all. Okay. So we'll discuss the capital improvement plan, CIP, and GO fund, TIF fund bond.
So I've taken council scores and included that now on sheet and column 5, so that you can start to take a look at that, see where things lined up. This sheet does not reflect the two papers that you have in front of you, which are updated cost estimates, more in-depth cost estimates from Bolton and Mink regarding Broadway and agency. The TAP grant was submitted for Agency Street Trail last Friday, but these are updated cost estimates for agency and Broadway from the engineers. I also asked them to take into account savings that may or may not have been may or may not have been seen with the utilization of the University of Iowa students. That was a question that came up early on in the discussion. And down at the bottom, you'll see their estimate of cost savings based on the preliminary design completed by the students, $35,000 on Agency Street and $25,000 on Broadway. And that's in their professional opinion, what that cost savings was on each of those projects. So I thought that was interesting. We also use that as a match in any grant applications. That alone more than covered our cost.
Yeah, wasn't our total cost for everything 50,000?
Up to 50,000, and we're not even close to
We're not even
that.
close, so yeah, thank you.
Thought that was interesting. So, the next step on this will be obviously some council discussion. I want to give you this chance to take a look at it. This may be a separate work session in and of itself to run through this, or perhaps ahead of a council meeting as well. After that discussion, we can start to formulate a plan to utilize the GO-TIF bond proceeds. We have that GO-TIF that's expiring in 2027. We could go to an issuance in 2026, pay the interest from a different location, and then those would essentially, one would come off and the other one would come on, same cost, no additional increase or anything. We could
Just a longer term.
for another 10 years, most likely. 10 years is what we typically do for bond issuance. But one would come off, the other one would come on. There'd be a seamless transition, no additional cost in doing that. What we need to do, though, is identify what those projects are, because we'll have to make sure that those are included in our urban renewal plan before we go to any type of bond issuance in 2026. So that will be identifying projects, working on the urban renewal plan. Then the next step would be an issuance in 2026, pay that interest from a different source, and then the following year, the bond interest plus principal would take into effect, or would begin. So, happy to take any questions you might have, but I really just wanted to kind of get this information back to you, give you an opportunity to take a look at it before we have a discussion on it. But the scoring is there, and I wanted to give you the updates on the trail as well.
On each of these, they say trail. How wide's the trail?
10 foot,
It's a 10-foot trail.
Yep. In order to receive funding.
Trail must be 10 feet, and sidewalks have to be how wide?
We have been doing 4 foot. It was the standard for a while. The new standard that most communities are using is 5 foot. Our standard, we continue to use the 4 foot standard at this point in time. We haven't switched to a 5 foot standard.
Thank you.
So sidewalk that we'll be putting in front of a senior housing area.
4-foot matching up
4
with
foot.
our existing sidewalk along Van Wees.
Okay.
We'd like to get in there this spring to do it, ideally from a public works perspective. We want to obviously make sure there's not going to be any heavy equipment on there. We could certainly probably work with them. There's still a lot of work to do out in front and back with heavy equipment, so, but if they were to use the appropriate exit, then they wouldn't affect the sidewalk. So we'll see how they're coming along before we start any work out there. But that'll take it from where it ends on Van Wees to the trail.
You've had discussion with the hotel?
No. I think we're good, but we'll certainly, if we need to, take a look at that. But I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah, there's just that one spot where that power box is.
Yeah. We may have to relocate it, or if not, go around it if we need to do kind of a slight curve in there. But, yeah.
Sorry, people, I got a new phone and I don't know how to operate it.
I just got it 2 days ago.
It's an Android.
Yeah.
That's all I had on that tonight, and that's all the questions, Your Honor.
All right. No other questions? Then I will go to our next item, which is discussion on the downtown mural project.
We'll give you an update on each of the locations. There's other locations, although we are coming up against the installation window in April for the artist. So we'll, ideally, we need to try to get some decisions made on one location, and then two, design. We don't have an individual design for our community yet, based on the location. The goal is to try to play off one another. There's some consistency there between the two projects. Same artist, Ollie Habal from, now she's a professor at the University of Iowa. She's done a number of installations on the Ped Mall, Iowa City, around the country actually, as well. And so the ones that are identified are kind of the schemes that she's been looking at, the colors. For example, a lot more pinks down there, so she may use more blues out this direction. That said, we don't have any design at this point in time for our location. And there is some flexibility in the design. Obviously, we want to use the artist's ability to, we want to take into account, I guess, their work. But we do have some flexibility, perhaps on colors or different things like that. I wanted to bring up, you can't print it out, probably for proprietary reasons, but I wanted to pull up her webpage. This is her public art page, and I just wanted to give you a sense of the different projects that she's done in and around the area. So, if you go to her webpage, and I put this information's been in the updates and that have gone out, but just to give you a sense of her work, I wanted to run through these with you real quick. And there's kind of a whole host of concepts here that she's utilized, and she does make use of light on occasion. The lighting on the Ped Mall is her installation as well. But she's done a number of different projects throughout the area. And you'll see that a lot of these follow the similar theme that she's had, but there's also some more traditional ones as well in here as well. So it'd be kind of interesting putting it on the trail itself, or the trail crossing, instead of putting your traditional sidewalk or crossings, markings in there as well. This is on the Ped Mall, in Iowa City. Lighting installation that she did, and some more traditional mural designs as well. So they do want to.
Go back to that, go back to that one with the ladder on it. There. What?
On the ladder and in the windows.
That's
Probably an alleyway. So you want to try to stay true to her concept, and there was some goal to try to have some synchronicity or some between the two communities and the projects as well. We do have some flexibility, but our timeline is diminishing. So I wanted to bring this discussion again forward, see if there was the top one or two preferences from the council. And then I might suggest some more traditional designs here as well as I'm scrolling through camping scene, downtown scene, scenes. And you can check out more on our site that I provided as well. But, and then perhaps maybe a small committee could finalize the design work depending on the location, so we could try to get this done in time for an installation in April, would be my suggestion. But mainly tonight, I wanted to focus more on location, council preference, and I've tried to put updates in there regarding the current sites that we've been looking at. And those are in red. City Hall on the south side, either both ends, corners there, and/or in and around the windows on the sides and above. The rear of the photography studio, which is not going to work out at this point in time, although she is very interested in doing a project and working with a local artist on that. So we're going to connect Allie and Elizabeth up. Excuse me, not Allie, but Elizabeth and
Aiden Crawl, probably.
sorry,
You said Elizabeth?
K-Man Studio.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh yeah, Elizabeth with the
Art Center, thank you.
Connect them up and see about finding a local artist that could work with her on a team. The rear of her facility as well. The other location was the rear or south side of the bank in the alleyway. Although it's going to be unavailable due to future renovations, perhaps about a year out or so. So we wouldn't want to do something now that would be covered up later. Nail salon across the street on the south side is a potential willing participant as well. I put the pocket park on last, since based on our last discussions as well. So that's kind of where we stand, and really wanted to take tonight to get council input and direction.
So I didn't see the building across, like where Andy's at.
Remax?
Huh?
Remax?
Remax.
Right.
The end of it, the side of it?
It could be an option if the owners were interested. These were sites that Elizabeth came down, walked around, and suggested as the best locations for a mural in downtown West Burlington. Doesn't mean you can't do other sites. These are just the top sites that were identified at that time.
I thought that ladder thing was pretty cool. That one has a ladder on it too.
Well, that sounds like the definitely next one, and the next one.
Or maybe this one. Who knows?
Well, I think are coming up to, she wants to do this in April, which is in 3 weeks from now.
I'm not interested in
different
anything. I'm not interested in anything that's going to be painted on this building. If we're going to paint on this building, I'm not interested.
Painting on the building itself is one option, and installing something attached to the mortar is the second option. And you could, at some point in time, if it needs to come down, you could just simply prepare that mortar. So that's an option as well. She has, in the alley, I think you might be able to see it on one of these pictures. Maybe not this one. I think it's in the previous information that's gone out. Adjacent to the art center in the alley is a metal piece that's attached. That's going away. That could be repurposed out here. She's offered that to us as well, so we could repurpose that piece if we were interested in utilizing that.
Do you know how large that piece is?
I don't remember the exact, but it's, if you're just looking at the alley itself, I'm guessing it's somewhere around
10 feet by 12 feet, I'd say.
yeah.
I feel like
Piece
it's
is
taller
that?
than me.
I don't think it goes all the way to the ground, though. So
Correct.
I think it's probably
Town in Burlington.
6 by 8 or something like that, if I had to guess. But something, it's a good size, it'd make for a good size. And it's already, it's attached to a brick structure, so we would simply be able to reutilize it. That would be an option as well. And they've
So would
offered
it
that to
fit, would it fit in this space right here?
us. Yes.
What space?
This space right here?
That might be an option too for the back of the bank building, if it's something that could be removed and,
Oh, but they're going to be, they didn't want to do it this way.
Oh, they don't want to do it
They're going to be remodeling, most likely within the year. To, not the bank, but to the adjacent building, and covering that up.
If it's detachable, is that something that is easy to remove without damaging the building? And then if you have another,
Put a primer down, and then they paint it. I don't believe they put anything underneath it, so you'd probably be looking to do something over it at some point in time. I don't know if she's used, there are products that you can put on certain structures, clear, type of a clear coat that allows you to wash vandalism off. Spray paint, for example.
Okay.
That you can more easily wash those off, or power wash them off, rather than having to paint over them, those types of things. I don't know if she's used those before. That'd be a good question for her.
Well, there's plenty of buildings to paint on other than this city hall, you know? And, you know, if we're gonna do the pocket one and put make it a three-corner thing, that's up for discussion, but anywhere else on this city hall, this building's, yeah, it's 25 years old, but it's looks nice the way it is, and I would rather try other buildings than this building, at least till we see what the designing is. Maybe down the road, like you just said, or Melanie, maybe that's year 2 or 3 or 4. You know, but not this round. Not this round. I would almost beg of you is not to put something on this building.
Greg, on the nail salon, are you talking just where that sign was previously,
No,
or are
the
you
side of the
talking
building.
more? Okay.
That was her last option, but it was an option.
Okay.
And I
Well,
talked-
beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and so things that may look
That's true.
beautiful to you don't look as beautiful to others. And
That's
I think public art is an enhancement to a public building, and I think it's tastefully applied and put on a building like our city hall. It only enhances our community and our space. I think of when I walk around communities, to include those down in Burlington as the closest, where somebody painted marketing on the buildings 100 years ago, and it's still there today. And that's the Coca-Cola thing, and that's the Drake Hardware thing, and you guys can think of other ones. I think that just shows like to the vibrancy of the community and the history. And what would it be if, 50 years from now, people see our art on our public building? It can be inspiring, and it provides a topic of conversation to folks. And if nothing else, it's like, go look at that, and that's all you do. Or where am I going to get my picture taken? Well, a brick wall or this interpretive art or whatever it might be. So it causes, and I would choose the interpretive arts position. You may choose the brick spot. So we got to start somewhere. That's 1. 2, I want us to start somewhere. I feel strongly about that. 1, 2, being down in our downtown draws people to our downtown. So you have to look at where's a good spot in our downtown. And as any realtor will tell you, location, location, location is what sells it. And where's our high traffic spots in downtown West Burlington? I love the alley spots, but it's not the alleys. I hope we get there. I love the pocket park idea, I really do, but maybe not for the first one, not with our concerns for the 4th of July. I like the side of the city building. It's like we're bought in, we're committed, and it's easy. And the irony is, just 3 days ago, I'm downtown and there's a friend of mine yells at me, she's going into one of the nutrition place. And we stand in the corner and BS for a bit, and I'm like, well, that's where the art goes. I mean, it was just like, it should go right there. And everybody goes to the post office. What do you see? And the post office is kind of a nice anchoring place for our downtown. And this is a public building. Each one of these other options, we are asking a business owner to allow us to do it on their building. And this is a public project. So it shows our commitment as a community, as a city government, to creating these types of gathering spaces. And when it's up, there's no maintenance. We don't need Chase to go cut the trees or mow the grass or even pick the trash up. It's done, right? That's what you were thinking about, weren't you? No, done is done. So those are it's like, okay, reasons to do it and get done.
That's a very, very good speech, okay? And it has merit, but putting that same picture across the street on a building that's a little bit older and not as nice looking and would have the same effect as putting it on this building, and I think it would just take away from this building. And there's plenty other places to put a mural. I'm not against that.
Just
I'm
picking the
against
spot.
it. I'm against the spot. So we don't know what they're going to put on here. We don't have a design to say, okay, go ahead and put on there. It could be something.
It'd most likely be something similar to this. But
And see, I don't like that.
With more blues.
I would like more of the traditional thing that we just showed up there.
But
I don't like this.
But we could have some additional input according to Travis with IISC, so that's why I suggested maybe putting together a committee that can get together, the staff, mayor, council members, so that we could get something, because we need to get it turned around pretty quickly. But the idea is to complement each other in the final design in some way, shape, or form.
Well, to make sure that all council members have an opportunity to speak, I want to hear from the three that have not.
Well, for me, I'm not really an artist. I wouldn't trust myself to paint inside the lines. And I know everybody has a different perspective of what art is. I guess if I look at things like the display here, I guess I'm with John and more traditional type of art, because I remember when we had it out there on the west side of town, and it was out there, it was pretty cool looking at that, I like that type of thing. I like the pocket park idea, I really do. And I like the fact that maybe if you can apply something to the side of the building where you can take it off and you don't, and give it a shot. If you get enough compliments, John, maybe if you see that and just, it's not painting the building, but it's on a side of something that can be taken off the building. And if you receive enough positive results of people saying, hey, this is a cool idea, they like it, maybe that may persuade you thinking in the future that that it would be appropriate then to have it on their side. I don't know. I'm just thinking, maybe it would or something. The problem is putting on somebody's private building is then, I agree with Mel, is that what happens if they destroy it, they don't like it, they do damage to it, then there's not much we could do then to preserve the art then that you're investing in. And that's the big drawback I see about putting it on a private building. I think it should be on one of our public buildings if we're going to do it, because then it's entrusted to us to take care of it.
But if they okay it, they're probably going to go along with and leave it there, Ringo.
Probably,
if they do, but.
Hopefully we would, but you never know about ownership changes with certain people.
Yeah.
Your Honor, thank you.
And there certainly could be additional ones in the future, working with local artists as well, more.
I do like the idea of our local artists, because I know we do have some young people in our communities.
Or community, I mean, they have the programs where paint by the numbers, or whatever you want to, within the lines where you invite community members to paint as well. I mean, that could even be done as part of this piece if we wanted to, but There's a number of other, a number of locations where we could start to see some art along the trail and other locations too.
I do want to say that I respect other people's view of the art. I'm just not that I'm against it, I'm more of a neutral on it. And I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that, so.
Abstract isn't your cup of tea.
No, I'm more of a square,
Andy?
I'm generally in favor of doing this, and I think that if we're going to say this is important as a city to promote art and have public art, and that this enhances our city, I think we've got to be willing to put it on city property. I don't think we can ask private businesses only, like, hey, put this on your building, but we don't want it on ours. So I think either we've got to embrace it and move forward with it, and have it on our buildings as well, or we should probably not do it. So I would be in favor of either City Hall. I like the two wings. Underneath is going to be hard to see, but it'd be a neat spot at some point to have something there underneath the overhang on the south. And I like doing it on the white building across the street, but I can understand, I think that's just a vinyl siding or something, isn't it? I would think that would be much.
Glass there. When you said end, did you mean the two square?
Two end caps, yeah. Or, one of them or something there. I wouldn't want it probably right by the front door where we need to make sure signage is important and readable and those kind of things. But in general, I think that would make sense. I would have probably picked some other spots, but, and I'm kind of with John on this mural itself. I think my only ask would be not to say that I need to love it to put it on City Hall, but could we give it a quick okay? Like a quick glance before it starts going up, just to say, all right, that's something that we have seen and is good. So, and then I'll just, lastly, I really don't want to put it over here where I try to keep kids out all the 4th of July. So I'd prefer it somewhere else other than right there.
Reese?
Well, I'm going to echo the same sentiments as Andy. I think if we're pushing it, we should be the first ones to start it, and then I think other people will get on board. I like the two south ends, and, if we need to put up a metal thingy on the building to paint it, that way I think down the road we'd be able to change the picture and stuff without it ruining our building.
Or swap it out.
Yeah.
Maintain
And
that art.
the only thing is
Lose
that
art.
I'm not in favor of that. We've got to figure out
That's not
something
ours.
else,
That's
because
not
that's, I'm going to have more psychedelic people coming up, and I'd prefer not. I mean, I think something more aesthetic than that, I'm sorry. I like abstract art, but not that abstract. Sorry. But the two end caps, I think, will make, and I think when the other businesses see how well it looks besides this picture, perfect. I would, and I'm not in favor of mayflies. Mayflies can stay in Burlington for all I care. I'd rather see butterflies and dragonflies, and they can keep their flies, and we'll keep ours.
I agree.
Out here too.
We do get some out here, though, right out in front of City Hall.
Yeah, well,
every year.
dragonflies stink.
And I'm not saying that the 4th of July is the only thing we do, but we could very much use very unique fireworks as our unique thing that's put on all the buildings. If you're doing a small little thing out on the flower pots or something, compared to the mayfly being their thing.
It's same but different.
Yeah.
Just a little.
Yeah, surely we have pictures from different years of the fireworks from the 4th of July that,
Inspire
but we
some of
won't
the-
use that one year where they all went.
Yeah, let's not do that one.
Well, my opinion, which doesn't count for much, I like the idea of something that people will see when they're here for the 4th of July. And the pancake breakfast brings lots of people down here. So I think anything that's done on this street over here is something that I'm in favor of. If we only did one of our pillars, I would do this front one up here. Again, because it's visible, and I do agree with you that I think it's kind of up to us to do something first. I also agree with John. I want something that can be taken down if we need to, or want to, so.
Are there a couple that would, I guess I'd like to get maybe two perspectives that would be able to work with me, because I'm not an artist. I don't want to be the only one. But Melanie, you've got one perspective and somebody else with a different art, perspective on the particular art that we could
My
get together with the artist.
perspective is very open.
Right.
I'm pretty much, everything's good.
Me too.
So I won't narrow it down. So we need to have somebody who
I think we
might
need to
be
have
more
Something
narrow,
else too.
more refined in what they're,
I think we need to have
Feels
couples,
attractive.
both equations, so we got to come to something.
I'll sit with you if you'd like, but
John, you
John
wanna
has
be-
an opposite opinion here. so-
If it's going on in the building, I don't want nothing to do with it.
Okay. Andy, do you want to? or-
I'd be happy to look at it, but I really don't want to
One more thing.
say too many things. I want the artists to do what they want to do. I think, can we give it a quick glance just to say,
Yay or nay, or?
just the-
Before I say that, are we talking maybe not putting it on the building, but putting it on
The metal that we're.
A metal thing?
Being donated to us.
and not put it on the brick?
Right.
Right.
Attach it to the mortar on the
But the
building.
metal piece will be attached in the mortar.
So
Yes.
we can take that off?
Yes.
Then I might be on that. I mean, I don't even want it on that, but I mean, I'd rather do that than paint it on the brick.
Because you said you didn't want anything in the mortar either, so
I don't.
spit it
but-
out, Fred.
You can retuck point it, I mean, that's,
It's not hard to do.
You can do it. We'll help you paint. I'll put the numbers on it, you can paint.
It's the end of our discussion on items and new business, so citizen concerns?
Hello.
Good evening, city council members, city officials, and fellow residents. My name is Ryan Rogers. I'm here tonight to address the growing concern about the lack of response from city officials and the city's deliberate attempts to avoid
Brian,
public discussion.
Brian, can you grab that mic?
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Ryan, keep in mind that anything that, we're not going to respond to you because of your concerns. And we have had a lawyer talk, and offer to talk to you, right?
Yes. Yeah. So, but I'm here to address the growing concerns about the lack of response from city officials and city's deliberate attempts to avoid public discussion of my concerns regarding my property. For weeks, I have repeatedly reached out to city council members and other city officials, yet the only person that has responded is the city administrator, who isn't an elected city official. Additionally, I specifically requested that the city attorney to be present at this meeting to answer legal questions and regarding my property zoning enforcement and selective treatment. Instead, I was told that if I wanted answers, I would need to meet behind closed doors away from public scrutiny and accountability. This raises serious questions about why the city refuses to engage in open dialogue and why elected officials who are supposed to represent the people have chosen silence over transparency. Since the beginning of this issue, I have sent multiple emails to every member of this council, and not a single council member has responded to me directly. It is completely unacceptable that council members who were voted into office to represent the residents of West Burlington have refused to engage with me. What does this say about our local government when a resident must fight just to receive a simple reply? The city's unwillingness to engage is not just frustrating, it undermines public trust. I ask each council member, or each member of this council, why have you ignored my emails? Why are you refusing to engage in discussion about a matter that directly affects me and other property owners? If this issue does not deserve a response, what does? Let's be clear, this is a zoning issue that affects multiple properties in West Burlington. This is a public matter that involves city policy and enforcement. This is not a private legal dispute, it is a question of government accountability. Yet instead of addressing the issue in front of the public, the city wants me to sit in a room behind closed doors, away from the scrutiny of residents and the oversight of the city council. The city's legal argument is sound. Why can't it be presented in public? If the city's confident in its enforcement policies, why are you avoiding transparency? Rather than prolonging this issue, I'm asking the council to take a clear and reasonable stance tonight. I request that I be allowed to continue using my garage as it has been used for the past 50-plus years until I'm ready to build a house. The city provides a written confirmation that it will not pursue further enforcement actions regarding my garage. This is not an unreasonable request. This is simply maintaining the status quo until I'm ready to move forward with my plans. I'm not asking for an exemption, a favor, or special privilege. I'm asking for fairness, consistency, and respect for my rights as a property owner. I'm officially requesting a meeting with the full city council where every elected official can be present to hear my concerns directly, provide answers regarding zoning enforcement and city policy. If the city believes its actions are fair and lawful, they should have no problem discussing them openly. I'm not here to create conflict. I am here because I believe in fairness, accountability, and open government. If the city truly believes in serving residents, then it will not silence me. It will engage with me. I appreciate your time and look forward to a response from every elected official, not just the city administrator. Thank you.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
I don't remember seeing any emails from you except for asking to come speak at a meeting. Have you sent an email to me?
Not you two directly, but I've addressed the entire city council. I did that through the citizens' inquiries form.
Okay. All I've seen are, I believe, 2 messages asking for you to come speak at this. So I want to make sure, if you've sent me something, please resend it because I haven't seen it.
Okay, with that, I will, just a second. You're speaking on the same subject?
No.
No, all right.
Sean Rogers. I guess I'm speaking on multiple things. One, as far as the lights go and the school donating them to the Little League, the city should, I understand it costs money, but it's a huge big deal to the Little League. I've served on that Little League, Kelly served on that Little League board. I've served on it for years and years and years. Having lights out there would dramatically change. That league is growing. I mean, it's probably grown 30-40% in the last 3 to 4 years. So having the lights out there, being able to schedule 2 games out there instead of 1, alleviates a backlog. A lot of games we have to give to other towns because we don't have lights. They could be here in the city, which brings people into our community, brings them in using our gas stations, buying food, using our concession stand. There is a benefit to it. I understand the upfront costs, but as a proud member and supporter of that league, we've tried for years to figure out a way to fund and get even lights on one field out there. So I would strongly urge not to dismiss it because of the cost. I would strongly look for grants, look for something, some way to help offset the cost. And I know the league would help in any way, shape, or form to try and make that happen because it's been an ongoing issue for 20-plus years, at least.
Mr. Rogers, I think, Chase, you're working on that, aren't you?
I'm working on a quote with Bazine to see what it'd take, and then from there.
It's
we'd have to
expensive.
work with the Little League and Alliant.
Yeah.
But we just started the process this week, so.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been dismissed, it's just open
I know
discussion.
what I'm saying, but I'm just saying, I know what it's gonna cost. I've already done the work. I've done the work myself. I know what it costs, and I know what the investment is, and it's substantial from a city standpoint, but I think it's an integral part of doing what you're trying to do in your comprehensive plan and bringing people to the community and things of that nature.
I agree with you.
So.
Thank you for that.
Right. Secondly, on the art thing, this is pretty, I understand art is subjective. As a citizen, we have art on our garage, on this garage that you want to tear down. There's public art on that garage. it's an important thing. I understand not wanting to paint the picture, but if you look at it from a standpoint of a citizen in tourism, and when we travel, we go to places. Have anybody been to Pontiac, Illinois? Their whole downtown is nothing but murals, alleyways, and it looks fantastic. It's very tastefully done. Everyone integrates into the other. I mean, they draw thousands and thousands of people to their little community, probably no bigger than this. And as far as having something removable, it's actually a very good idea because it gives you an opportunity to not just to highlight one artist. You could bring other artists in and display their work. You could have agreements where we're going to put this up for 2 or 3 years and give opportunities and exposure to other up-and-coming artists from the actual community. So it's not permanent per se, but it's always part of the fabric of the city. The other one is somewhat related to that, but not. And I understand this. As far as council not being able to respond, I'm tired of hearing that because it's not true. It's a policy. It's not a law. There is no law saying you cannot respond to citizens' inquiries. It's just a policy that the attorneys come up with so you don't have to engage. But as a citizen, it's very off-putting because a lot of these issues could be handled. And in his particular situation, it's very clear there's misinformation going out. In your very own minutes, you claim at the last meeting that the city ordinances prevent a garage being on without a dwelling. That's just not true. I mean, if you did the research and looked, it's just not true. He talked to the city attorney. The city attorney didn't even have any idea about half of the stuff, half of his issues. So he's getting one version of it. The council's probably getting the same version. Nobody's getting his version, so you can't come to a resolution because you're taking a stance based upon somebody that doesn't even making a decision without all the facts. Because his situation is super simple. It's all in your ordinances. I mean, it's all there. He's not making this stuff up. I commend him, and I'm a proud father that he is doing this and standing up for his rights. I'm not putting him behind this. He's doing all this work. He's putting in the time. And it's there. All you got to do is do the work. I've requested information from the city, well, on the Friday, a couple weeks ago. I've still gotten a response. Now, I know why, probably. I requested information under the Freedom of Information Act through Katie, because Greg wasn't here and Kelly wasn't here on that Friday. She took down my number, she took down the issue, and I specifically asked them, hey, if I need to come and fill out a form, let me know and I'll come fill out the form. Nothing. I've gotten no response whatsoever to even that. I understand there is a form, which I knew there probably was a form, but to not even get a phone call in response to the inquiry, and it's pretty simple. I'm just looking for a date. It's pretty simple information. It's nothing it's not rocket science by any means. It's a simple date. Shouldn't take the 15 days that you're allowed by law to respond to it. I mean, but if you want to take the 15 days, that's fine, but at least respond to me saying, hey, you need to come fill out the form, or you need to pay a fee, or you need to do this. To just ignore it, it doesn't give a citizen any confidence in its local government. And this particular issue is going to have to require council involvement because the council is the one that authorized the letter. The city, Greg Mansager, has no authority to authorize anything with the attorney. His powers come from the city council. So if the city council is aware of all this and authorize the letter, they need to stand up on that decision and sit down and engage and have the discussion, because it can't be resolved. Mansager, he's told 3 different stories. There's no way, as a citizen, I spoke to him 10 minutes, all I've spoken to this man, and I knew within 10 minutes we were headed here. And now I know why. I cannot figure out, it's been eating me on why for 4 months he's been adamant, no, because I said so. I called him on another issue because of something that he told Ryan, and I wanted to hear from the horse's mouth on that very property that I purchased, because I purchased it all. And I knew we were headed here because less than 18 hours later, he suddenly flipped the script. oh, yeah, we'll give you an address, no problem. But I told him, this wasn't over. He simply granted him the address with the intentions of coming after him.
You're going
Right.
over information that you've already gone over. I mean, this is from the last council meeting.
This part isn't.
From the address? Oh, yeah.
Right, but what I'm saying is I didn't go over the after effects of the address. He agreed to issue the address with the sole purpose of knowing he was going to try and come after him in a different way. There's no other exclamation behind it, because he was adamant for 4 months. He just wasn't going to do it, which is a willful violation of city ordinances. He wasn't doing his job. He doesn't get to do that. And again, the ordinances are very specific on separation of powers. If you guys authorize him, so be it. There's nothing we can do about it, but that's why he's here asking for the council involvement, because it has to be a council issue. Because it is a council issue at this point, because you've authorized it. And it affects other property owners, it can potentially affect other property owners in this community. Whatever the result of this is, definitely affects other property owners. So it is a public issue. But. Thank you.
Ryan, I'll have a direct communication with you. With that, we have concluded our business for the evening. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Support?
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.